Bar plots are a little different from the plot types we've looked at so far, in that they're best for working with discrete or categorical data. For example, plotting frequencies or counts of observations in different groups. Let's generate some data to work with. Here I'm creating a vector of color names and assigning it to the object calls. There are 10 reds, 5 blues, and 12 greens. Let's say we wanted to represent the counts of each of these colors with a bar plot. The first thing we need to do is get a numeric vector that stores the counts. We could create that by hand. We'll call it manual_counts and assign it the three totals, 10, 5, and 12, using the C or concatenate function. We can then pass the numeric vector to the barplot function to get a very simple bar plot. Now, we probably want to indicate which color each bar represents. There are several ways to do that. One is to pass a vector of labels for the bars as the name.arg argument. I'll first create a vector with the three color names and call it call_names. Then rerun the barplot function, but this time include the names.arg argument, pointing it to this new vector. Now, this manual approach works, but there are alternatives that are generally going to be easier. For example, instead of passing the names as an argument, another option is to add names to the items in the numeric vector itself. We can do that with a names function. Here, I'm assigning the color names as names of the numeric manual_counts vector. These names are added as an attribute of the vector. We talked about attributes of vectors some in previous videos, including in the video that introduced matrices. Think of the attributes as a type of metadata for an object. In this case, the numeric vector. Here, the names attribute stores a name for each entry in the vector. If we view it, the names get returned along with the numeric values themselves. The barplot function recognizes the names attribute if it exists and uses it to name the bars. So passing this named vector to the barplot function works, and we don't need to define the names.arg argument separately. But we can still make this even easier. Instead of defining the counts by hand, like we did to create the manual_counts vector, we can take advantage of the table function. Table simply counts up the occurrences of unique entries in an object and returns the results as a named numeric vector. We can run table on our calls object, which stores the 27 color names, and see its output. Since this output is a named numeric vector, it can be passed right to the barplot function. So one option is to combine the two and use the table function inside the barplot function, like I'm doing here. The only thing that's different about this plot is that the colors are plotted in a different order. In this case, the table function returned them in alphabetical order. We can reorder them by indexing the vector. The original order was red, blue, green, which correspond to the third, first, and second positions in the vector created by the table function. This indexing reorders the vector that comes out of the table function and that gets passed to the barplot function. Like for the other plot types we've looked at so far in Base R, we'll look at some additional approaches for customizing plots, those that apply more generally to multiple plot types, in another video.